Pillars for an excellent marriage. Malachi 2, verse 16. I hate divorce, says the Lord God of Israel. And I hate a man's covering himself with violence as well as with his garment, says the Lord Almighty. The pillar of today for an excellent marriage is hating divorce. If you want your marriage to excel, hate divorce. And that is Jesus, that is the Lord. He is saying, I hate divorce. So if you hate something, you cannot provide materials for it. Nowadays, people who are in this world called marriage are negotiating very much with the reality, whereby they are saying marriage is not an ID. But what we forget is, when the marriage fails, it is to say the program of God failed, because the inventor, the one who discovered marriage, was God himself. And Jesus dying on the cross was to institute a marriage between God and the humanity. That's why the Bible speaks of Jesus Christ as a groom and the church as a bride. So when you see marriage failing, it openly speaks of a deeper thing beyond those two people who were in that marriage. God says, I hate divorce. And that's a major pillar. By the way, me and my wife, we have gone through so many things. Most of them are not narratable. And people ask me, why are you still in that marriage? Now it is about 17 years old marriage. And I was trying to think, to look into it. And there are two factors I saw that have made my marriage not end. Even when it was clearly evident it is ending. And one of it, there are 2 points, but one of it is myself as a person. I hate divorce from when I was a child. Because I saw how my mother brought us up in that battle of marital failure and marital struggle. And I put it on myself that I will never allow my children to be away from me as long as I am alive. And if they are not in their own lives, they are grown up now, they are married, and maybe they are in their lives, they are married or working or in America or in UK, wherever they may be. But that they are not with me because me and their mother, we fell apart. I told God, please help me. And I developed, from my mother's experience, I developed an attitude of hating divorce with utmost detestation. And I came to realize, by the way, this thing is an ingredient for the marriage to continue thriving. But you need to understand what brings divorces in people's life. Background imbalances can be a major source, because you may ask, why do people divorce? You can't just wake up and say, I'm divorcing you. Number one is background imbalances. Your background and her background, your background and his background, that imbalance especially foundational issues. Naming, the name you are called, is a major cause of divorces. Yes, study your name. If you are called a name of a person who was divorced or never married, how do you expect that name will speak? Unless that name is transformed through Christ. Also, infidelity. Jesus said the only thing is allowed for people to separate and issue a certificate of divorce is marital unfaithfulness. And there are so many people who are in marriage but divorced. But they're in marriage because of the children, but already divorced, because the moment infidelity is entertained, it breaks the covenant of the marriage. Something else is forces of darkness, like incubus and succubus. Those spiritual husband and spiritual wife. Actually, they are very much behind so many divorces you are seeing today. Because if your wife has a spiritual husband, or your husband has a spiritual wife, then that person is married to a superior being than you. So you don't exist in marriage authority per se. And in most cases, if deliverance is not sought out, divorce is inevitable. Something else is unresolved indifferences. Do you see the people who have the tendency of not forgiving each other, and they have the tendency of going back to the history of what they did to each other? You see, unresolved conflict, and you can read it there. If that is mostly like 1 Peter 3:7 speaks of conflict management. A marriage whereby you don't have a conflict resolution mechanism, most cases, that marriage will end up in divorce. Something else is a lack of conflict resolution mechanism. I've just talked about it. There are people, when you enter the marriage, they don't believe in seeking out answers to the problem. They believe in escalating the problem. And you can even somebody telling you, if we divorce, am I the first one? External pressure is another cause of divorce, like peers, relatives, and those kind of things, neighbors. If you do not know how to protect your marriage from external pressure, external aggression, your marriage mostly might not survive. And especially if you have relatives that do not believe in your marriage principles, or you have friends or peers that are around you that are not of marriage excellence. You normally say bad company corrupts good morals. Something else is a cause of divorce is parallel goals, where your ambitions have not been harmonized. Many people who divorced, they divorced simply because they had parallel visions, and each in this marriage, we are seeing each other as a competitor, and the competitors cannot build a marriage. Marriage is for the compromisers. You need to know how to shelve your ambition, to allow the ambition that is superior to see the light of the day. So when there is parallel goals, that marriage, in most cases, something else is a lifestyle. Lifestyle is a major source of divorce today. In this modern generation, they are for lifestyle more than the marriage. And if your lifestyle is not supported by the marriage you enter into, you call it off. You say, I cannot allow marriage to imprison me. You know, lifestyle is a major issue. And another point is hardness of the heart, a bad attitude. Jesus said Moses allowed you to give your wives certificate of divorce because of the hardness of the heart. But it was not such in the beginning. For God created them with male and female and made them one, and therefore they are one flesh. So if you want your marriage to excel, you must bring yourself to a position of hating divorce. Develop a sense of disliking divorce. And don't try even to imagine. If you detest and your partner detests divorce, then you cannot supply materials that would lead to divorce.